I think it's really important to have discussions about mental health and mental health related struggles, which most of our songs are dealing with, and like imposter syndrome and all of those kind of feelings. It's true that Finnish people tend to be more, not so open about and not talkative about these things. But for me, it's easy to express myself and those feelings in the context of music. It's really easy for me to write those things down and perform it on stage. It is a little bit difficult to talk about it. And not because the subjects are like heavy or something. It's more about, it feels a little bit maybe cringe for me personally, because I have written those words and then I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk about it.
Lotta, thank you so much for your time today. As we're talking, we're getting closer to the release of DEATHMATCH. You already, from just our quick conversation before that we started recording, you seem like someone that has a ton of energy in you. Is it hard to stay calm right now, getting so close to the release of this album?
That's a nice perception about me. I'm not sure if I have a lot of energy right now, but yeah. It has been a long time or a long wait, if I could say, to try to, have my energy contained about the excitement what releasing DEATHMATCH will be next month or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it so very much, and I hope people will enjoy what they're hearing. And it's so nice to finally get to let all of those songs out, what we've been working for so long. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. What is it? Because we'll talk about the shows that you'll play a little later in this conversation, because you're going to go on tour and all that kind of good stuff. That's a little later than the actual release. So what's going to happen on release day? Are you just going to be, behind 5 computers and 3 cell phones trying to keep up with all the notifications and all the pings that are happening? Or do you have something special planned?
We actually have a show that very day we are releasing the album. So we are going to be busy traveling and doing sound checks and then performing. So probably we will be behind our screens when the night comes and we sleep. so yeah, pretty basic show day for us.
Yeah, awesome. And you say like, oh, I can't wait for this final to come out. It's been such a long time. Sure. I mean, it's not that you guys started as a band yesterday. You've been, around for, I think at this point, like 6-ish years. Nevertheless, you're still very much at the start of your career, and not, most bands, have to play like 15 years of bars and, try some songs and maybe put out a self-released album and what have you. You guys have your debut coming out on a label like SharpTone, which is not normal for most bands. In the craziness of all the press you have to do right now and the planning and all the Excel files you'll probably be going through as well with people from the label, is it possible for you to kind of take a step back at this point as well and kind of take it in and appreciate that not every band can release a debut album on a label like that and get all the attention that you guys are getting yet?
Yeah, definitely. We were really, shocked when we got signed by SharpTone. It was a long dream, big dream we have had, over the years. And yeah, we have been around for 6 years, and we have had like different bands longer. So we have done our, legwork before as well. And we've played so many shows over the years and put in some hard work for the music and evolved as musicians and, as performers and everything. And it's still, like you said, it's still really surreal to get your, debut album released by a label like SharpTone. And we are just so happy that we have gotten into this point that we are able to get this wider audience, bigger the album and everything. So yeah, definitely shocked and happy.
Yeah. Now, people like worldwide kind of PR teams and labels, they have to put labels on you so that people know what to expect from your music. You obviously, for those that have listened to your music before, you come with a quite eclectic mix in your sound, but people kind of like loop you in with the, let's call it the new wave of new metal, or the new metal revival that we've seen in the last like 10 years or so. Not just the old bands from back in the day when I was a teenager that are still here or back. There's a ton of new bands that have definitely been influenced by that sound, but your sound seems to be much more broad than that. And also, I don't know exactly how old you are, but I'm pretty sure you weren't a teenager when I was a teenager in the 90s. Is it fair to categorize you as such? Like, were those new metal bands the biggest inspiration, or is there? I feel like you're tapping into more than that, than quote unquote just that. Like help me understand some of the inspirations from a music perspective.
Yeah, I think so too. Actually, the new metal inspirations are new for us. I was just laughing about that. I actually just became familiar with bands like Linkin Park and Korn and Deftones just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I've heard of those bands before. Yeah.
So I actually obviously I had heard about them, but they weren't a part of my like youth or teenage years.
Yeah.
So those were like new acquaintances for me and new inspirations for our band. But yeah, you're right. We have really experimental side to our band, and we really love doing music that isn't defined by a certain type of genre. Obviously, we want to keep some sort of like line between our songs and what we are like writing. And we love heavy music. We love big hooky choruses, pop music, you know. So there's always going to be some sort of sense what we're doing. But we really just like to experiment on every sort of aspect of music. Obviously, it depends what we are inspired at the moment. So now with this album, the new metal is definitely something we were listening and vibing with very much. And we do love the sound of the 2000s metal bands. Like, they are more rougher than you hear nowadays. So that was something we were really drawn into with the expression and with the sound of the overall of the album. But yeah, it really depends. You know what the season is when we are writing, what sort of we are listening. So we try not to constrict ourselves too much when we are writing.
I'm sure that you're already in some way, shape, or form are working on what's next and other material. Through this process where you've allowed yourself to be pretty diverse, are there specific elements on this album that you played with or tried that you particularly like, and that we might see a little bit more prominent going forward?
Well, now when we mentioned the new metal and the overall sound, I think that's something we vibe like very much with. So probably we're going to stay on that path for a little while at least. The last songs we wrote for the album were like Leech, Sadist, Burn the World With Me. I think those three were the last ones. So we really enjoyed they are probably the most new metalish songs from the album. In my point of view. So that's something we're going to probably explore a little bit more in the future. But, you know, we get distracted a lot. So you never know what's going to be next.
Yeah. Now, what those 90s new metal bands really brought to the world of rock and metal was that, you know, a lot of teenage angst that you had, and in those days, definitely in like more the punk world. But in the early 90s, metal was still very much either it was about partying or it was about slaying dragons. And then, you know, throughout the 90s, that kind of fell away. And new metal and groove metal kind of took over, and they were very focused on that introspection and more like, you know, kind of like understanding your own emotions and feelings. You guys do that as well. There's, you know, dealing with imposter syndrome and self-doubt seem to be pretty big themes on this album. And that thought it was funny that also, like, I think you describe yourself on Instagram as a hot mess. Um, there's obviously a lot of Finnish metal bands, so I've interviewed many bands that are a little bit older than you, and I would say that stereotypically, Finnish people don't tend to be that open about their own emotions. Is that purely a generational thing, or is that hard for you as a Finnish band to do, to allow yourself to talk a little bit about more personal stuff? Because I feel like a lot of Finnish people that I talk to is more like, everything's fine, I'm fine, give me a beer, I'm okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's partly generational thing, and for me, music has always been a form of therapy. So I write about things that have I've gone through personally, and that's really important for me. And I think it's really important to have discussions about mental health and mental health related struggles, which most of our songs are dealing with, and like imposter syndrome and all of those kind of feelings. It's true that Finnish people tend to be more, not so open about and not talkative about these things. But and for me, it's easy to express myself and those feelings in the context of music. It's really easy for me to write those things down and perform it on stage. It is a little bit difficult to talk about it. And not because the subjects are like heavy or something. It's more about, it feels a little bit maybe cringe for me personally, because I have written those words and then I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk about it to people. But yeah, I think that's for me, I have been always like advocate for mental health. So it's really important for me, and try to remove the stigma from those topics. So yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
With the buzz around the band and the album, and being supported by like some seriously professional teams now, and getting good feedback and seeing everything accelerate for the band, does that then make you feel less like a hot mess and more confident, or does that make it worse? Does it make you feel even more like, I have no clue what I'm doing? What the hell? How that must have impacted you personally quite a lot this last 18 months.
Yeah, well, I don't know if if the fact that we have like great teams and everything affect that aspect of my life, or those kind of emotions or thoughts. I think I'm always my worst enemy. No matter who backs us up, who backs me up, someone can like the best singer in the world could come and say that you are an amazing singer, and I would be, yeah, sure. So I think you have to love yourself, and try to validate yourself, if I can, if it makes sense, so you can be content in what you're doing and feel professional or something like that. So yeah, I don't think that fact impacts us or myself personally. I'm just really happy that we have that sort of professional team, and I know that I can count on them and I can count on their professionalism, and then I can have the conversations with myself that if I am a hot mess, and or if I have imposter syndrome or something,
You said that your own lyrics can make you feel cringe at times because you're the ones that wrote about them. You're gonna go on tour and gonna have to sing these lyrics to big audiences. Like, does that make it worse or better? Like the idea or the thought that it's one thing to have this, multiple screens between you and your audience, and okay, the music is already, well, not all the music, but a lot of singles have been released and what have you. So that people are listening to it, people are reacting to it. But you're gonna, more and more as this journey continues, look people in the eye that are reacting emotionally, very likely, to what you're saying instantaneously. Is that something that you look forward to for that experience, or is that like a bit of a scary thought?
Yeah, like I said, in the context of music, I don't feel, I don't get cringed out by myself. It's more for me to express those emotions through the music.
Right.
But it's the hard part of talking about them and trying to explain what I mean, because I feel like I am not that good of a person to explain the things that I do. So it's easier for me to express myself through music. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much, because we have always been a live band, and actually Luna Kills was started for the fact that we wanted to play live shows. So that is always the thing that I look forward, and I'm already looking forward for the shows that are going to start like next month. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also it's going to be interesting, I'm sure, for you that you'll meet so many people that interpret your words in their way, and your lyrics will mean different things to different people, which can be an interesting mind fuck as well when you talk to people. But let's talk about these shows, because they're coming up. They're coming soon. You've got a European tour for like most of May. You'll be on a European tour. There's some summer festivals already announced. It's going to be a busy year. You're going to be very tired in a few months from now. So obviously, with one album to promote, the focus is going to be on that album. But what can we expect from some, like, I've never had a chance to see you guys live. What can I expect if I come to a Luna Kill show?
Well, first of all, we are a really energetic band, and we really want to see the audience as hyped as we are. So it's going to be a lot of bouncing around, and we are going to make demands probably for the audience to join us. But yeah, very energetic show. If I may say so, we are a great live band. We are very good players and very good entertainers. So that's it. That is in a nutshell what is going to be expected from our live shows.
There you go. It'll be both a mental and a physical workout, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, Lotta, the album is almost here. I'm very excited for you guys to have, to go through this journey. I hope you have plenty, or you find the time in that crazy schedule that you have to just also enjoy that ride, because a debut album you can only release once, so make sure that you take it all in. And we obviously hope to see more shows announced, and I'll keep my fingers crossed for some shows on the other side of the Atlantic at some point as well, so we can check you out here in North America. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.